your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, a deadly weekend here in the north. 5 persons lose their life in 2 separate traffic accidents, including a 4-year-old minor. Board of Directors and the General Manager of St. Francis Xavier Credit Union are retrieved from their duties and power, but they are not taking the news lightly and have lawyered up. They retain the services of Attorney Dean Barrow. And the government to appoint members of Commission of Inquiry tasked to modernize the sugar industry. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, March 13th, 2023.
I am ready. You are getting the new and improved me. This is nice.
I think what really impressed him was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
Bring on the heat!
It's about a relationship that hopefully many people can relate to.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with
Centaur, your kind of company.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
This is our best chance to find a habitable planet.
You're shooting the bullet. You're catching it.
Arrakis is a death trap.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with
Centaur, your kind of company.
Please, are you ready for Jesus Fest 2023? The End Times Revival, March 17th and 18th, starting at 6 p.m. Invited guest Pastor Paul Dougherty from the USA.
Hey, listen, the weather's gonna change. Listen, I know it's stormy seas out there, but there's light at the end of this storm. The sun will come out tomorrow. God's going to do something in your future. He's not finished with you yet. Somebody say, this is not how it ends.
Casa Worship Band from Belmopan, Pastor Vicente Franco from Mexico, Psalmist from Orange Walk, Beverly Shiloh. This event will take place at Arthur Street in Orange Walk, in front of Orange Walk Market. Special gifts will be provided. Sponsors, Victory Church from Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA, Hope Alive, Stereo Luz, CVM Church, Pastores y Ministros Amigo del Reino,
Koinonia Ministries.
Buses will be provided for villages. For more information, contact us at 661-7324. Jesus Fest 2023. See you there.
Indulge the flavor. Go beyond meat. Looks like meat. Tastes like meat. But it's better than meat. 100% plant-based. rich in protein, 50% less saturated fat, no GMOs, no added soy, packed with benefits and sustainable. Beyond Meat, good for you, good for the environment. Now available in 6 different types of products in Belize. Beyond Burger, Beyond Sausage, Beyond Beef, Beyond Chicken Nuggets, Beyond Chicken Tenders, Beyond Steak, Beyond Meat, distributed by United Distributors Limited.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
At Smart, we embrace change, innovation, and equality. From energy and transport to telecommunications and network technology, our females are bringing their own style of leadership to traditionally male-dominated sectors and breaking down barriers for the next generation. Therefore, fostering our women's sense of self-worth, her decision-making power, her access to opportunities and resources is at the forefront at SMART. SMART celebrates all women this Women's Month under the theme Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. It was a deadly weekend here in the north as 5 persons lost their lives in 2 separate traffic accidents. First, we look at one of the deadliest accidents recorded in the north in many years, which claimed the life of 4 persons, including a 4-year-old baby girl. The horrific collision occurred shortly after 8 on Saturday night on the Yoke Creek Road leading towards the community of San Antonio. 4 members of the same family, Aldair Tillit, his daughter 4-year-old Alicia, his wife Felicia, and his younger sister Janina, died on impact after the pickup truck they were traveling in crashed head-on into another vehicle traveling in the opposite direction. Today, we visited the community of Trinidad, where one family tries to contend with the immeasurable loss of 4 loved ones taken away in an instant. Norma Ruiz has the story.
This was the scene on the San Antonio Yoke Creek Road on Saturday night following a traffic accident which claimed the life of 4 members of the same family. Traffic was backed up on both ends as onlookers stared in shock and disbelief. The two vehicles, a Ford F-150 pickup truck and a Ford Ranger, can be seen on the scene extensively damaged. The occupants of the Ford Ranger, including its driver, 27-year-old Aldair Tillett, along with his wife, 27-year-old Felicia de la Fuente, his baby girl, 4-year-old Alicia Tillett, and his younger sister, 18-year-old Janina Tillett, were all trapped inside the vehicle, presumably killed on impact. It was not until several minutes later, when fire personnel arrived on the scene, that the bodies of all four were removed from the mangled wreckage. The driver of the Ford F-150 pickup was identified as Byron Tillett. Traveling along with him was Alexis Guemes. Both men tonight remain hospitalized in a critical but stable condition. Aldair Tillett and his family, according to reports, were returning home to Trinidad Village following a trip to Botes, while Byron Tillett was reportedly traveling towards San Antonio after a day of socializing when he lost control of his vehicle and rammed into Aldair. While alcohol may have been a factor in Saturday's accident, police is yet to confirm.
How's a blood alcohol or urine sample being taken from Byron Tillett?
Well, the investigators haven't indicated that to me, but I believe that they did everything that is required at from a traffic accident scene, which would include trying to obtain specimen. Failure to provide that specimen would result in charges being levied against that driver.
Do you all have any information if the people are related and have the same last name?
Well, we were trying to verify that, but we know that one family is from Trinidad Village, and the driver is from San Antonio Village, Alexis. No, I'm sorry, San Lazaro Village. The other driver, Byron Tillett.
Sir, no, in this case, is there any indication what may have caused the accident? One vehicle just went into the lane of the other, it appears.
Yeah.
Was it driver error or a mechanical failure?
Well, from what the investigators have sent so far, they are saying that one of the driver may have lost control of his vehicle. We would know that after the motor vehicle inspector has done his part, and then we would be able to answer that with a more definite conclusion.
Well, if you've seen the pickups, you will know that one of them is a full-size pickup.
Yes.
And that's one that Byron Tillett was driving.
That's a F-150.
Is a Ranger. Do you all know if seatbelts or any type of restraint mechanism was being used by the persons that were deceased in the Ford Ranger?
Well, not so far, but the indications are that they were trapped in the Ford Ranger. So we know that it took a while to get them out.
Shanina Tillett, Aldair and Janina's sister, says the family was at home awaiting their return when they got the news of the accident.
Aquí estábamos en la tarde, como a las 4. Estábamos aquí desde mediodía. Mi mamá tenía sus 4 hijos aquí unidos para lunch. Todos estábamos aquí. Él dice, ma, me voy a Rindrak a buscar a Felicia porque cada sábado él va a buscar a su mujer que sale de work. Se fue como 4:20, se fue a bañar, le dice a mi hermanita Janina, bañate, vas a ir gorda, bañate, vamos. Ok. Ahora ella se alistó. 5 to 5 él vino y se fueron a buscarlos. A buscar a mi cuñada, pues como cada costumbre tenía de ir a buscarla. Y él desde la tarde estaba cantando que él vaya a botes. Él se vaya a botes. Y mi mamá les dice, al leer le dice, vayan y regresen. Cuídense, le dice, porque él ya estaba tomando aquí, pero él no estaba pedo todavía. Él estaba bien controlado y se fueron. Mi hermanita, ella bien cambiada, que ya le digo, ¿te vas? Sí. Ella se fue como siempre, bien arreglada. Ella cuando salía, ella bien. Y se fueron solitos, ellos se fueron con mi sobrina. Se fueron para botes cuando nos dan la noticia más tarde, cuando lo que sucedió. Y es algo duro, pero...
As a very tight-knit family, Shanina says, the death of 4 of their own is simply beyond belief.
Nosotros éramos unos hermanos bien unidos. Nosotros no había día que nosotros estamos aquí. Él siempre aquí con mi mamá. Él, su mujer está trabajando, como está solo en su casa, solo su suegra queda, pues él más aquí con mi mamá convivíamos. Él siempre aquí con nosotros. Mi hermanita, ella era una persona alegre. Ella nunca la pasaba amargada que ande. Ella era feliz. Ella era bien friendly. Mi hermano, él podemos decir que él era terco por ratos pero mi hermano nunca que nos vamos a pelear, vamos a chistear y todo, pero nunca que no nos vamos a hablar entre hermanos, siempre estamos unidos. Los domingos, un domingo aquí con mi mamá, un domingo en su casa de él vamos a pasar, pero siempre estamos juntos los domingos como trabajamos. Y, pues su mujer, él trabaja, solo los domingos nos podemos juntar como familia completa. Cuando salíamos, nos vamos, a veces nos vamos a Indian Church, todos juntos, aunque empacaditos, pero ahí está, queremos andar juntos, andábamos juntos siempre.
Tu hermanita, ella, 18 años.
18 años, mi hermanita, 18.
¿Iba a la escuela?
Ella iba a high school. Acá en Belice, en VHC, acá, último año, estaba en Fort Firm. Su último año. Ella es todo como la conocen, ella era alegre, pues. Ella nunca te decía no, ella si le dicen ya, vamos. Ella no le importa si tiene trabajo en la casa, ella dice, ma, yo me voy, dice, me están invitando, yo me voy, dice. Ella era alegre.
Felicia, according to her aunt, Marvea Sosa, was a dedicated wife and mother. Her death and that of her daughter and husband has left the family heartbroken.
Felicia was a wonderful person. She's our first niece from my side of the family. She had always had this energetic personality as of a child. She was always friendly. She was always outgoing with her friends, with all of us. And being the first granddaughter from my parents, for our first niece, we always gave her everything. And she will surely be missed by a lot of us. And her daughter was everything for her. She always gave her everything to her daughter from the first day, just the way how we treated her as our first niece, granddaughter from my parents. She did everything for her. Also, she was a mom, a dedicated mom. She was always there helping, right? And it was very hard for us. And my niece, my grandniece, Alicia, came here in the same school that I work, in the preschool. She was always participating. I would ask her if she's behaving, listening, doing her work, and she would always say, yes, I'm behaving. The last time she was here, it was Thursday. And I can never forget that little angel look that I saw when we were at devotion at the church. Because when I heard about the accident, her face flashed in my mind. And it's really hard for my entire family.
Byron Tillith, we understand, has been served with a notice of intended prosecution as police investigations continue into the accident. Reporting for CTV3 News, Norma Ruiz.
The peers and teacher of 4-year-old Alicia Tillith are tonight also in mourning. Today we visited the San Lazaro Methodist Preschool where classes were cancelled as the school contends with the loss of one of their own. Before their untimely passing, baby Alicia and her parents were preparing to celebrate Fruits Day in honor of Child Stimulation Month. Alicia was to showcase her favorite fruit, which was mango.
This morning, I think, as always, when it comes to tragedy like this, it's really hard for everybody, especially when we have gotten attached to a student, and I would say especially the teacher, the class teacher, the preschool class teacher. It was rough for us this morning and up to right now, and the whole school is in shock this morning. Teachers and students are talking about it.
I know that you guys are currently in stimulation month with the preschoolers. Talk to us a little about, how that had been with little Alicia here and, the school, how it moves forward.
Yeah, she always took part in what we were doing this month. Last week, unfortunately, she got a bit sick, so she was unable to attend, and I would say she came Thursday, but when she came here, she felt a bit sick, and she went to the teacher and told her, so they had to come for her. And this morning, as we were here, we're here, and we are taking it as she came and said goodbye to us.
Era su única hija, era sus ojos de mi hermano, su única hija. Mi única sobrina, era una niña activa, era feliz, ella era una niña bien inteligente and smart. Ella estaba excited en este month de March Super School. Ella estaba excited, ella se va a vestir de nurse, ella se va, hoy lunes debería de llevar un plato de frutas dibujado de algo. Yo pienso que eso entraron a hacer en botes a comprar sus frutas de ella que necesitaba llevar hoy en preschool. Yo creo que, pero es algo duro, sí, no lo podemos creer todavía.
The ambience at the Belize High School of Agriculture was also a very somber one as students of Class B4 mourned the loss of their classmate and friend. Inside the classroom, students dedicated an altar to Janina, adorned with flowers and pictures of memories she shared with them throughout her 4 years of high school. Janina, according to her best friend, was excited for graduation in June.
She was my childhood friend and also a school friend and a classmate, and also she was my neighbor too. And she was a very friendly person and loving and anything you could expect from a good person.
You were about to graduate high school. How excited was she for that whole process?
She was really excited indeed. We were supposed to meet on yesterday to finish some work, but then she was involved in this tragic accident and it really affected us. So it's really gonna take time for us to process everything, but I know with God we will process it.
Where were you when you heard it, and what was your initial reaction?
I was at home, and then when they called us, we were on the group chat, and then it was really hard. They say that she was still alive, but then some said no. I couldn't believe it at first. It was really hard.
While classes were cancelled for today, the school has prepared several activities, including a memorial throughout the week to help students with the grieving process.
It's such a tragic loss. We are still in disbelief that this accident happened and it was involved one of our students. The students are quiet. They're supporting each other. We have the teachers going along and talking to them, giving comfort. And also classmates, they have been very supportive of each other. As you saw earlier, they have prepared us altar where they have expressed their feelings. They're mostly trying to have Jenny remembered as the fun person that she was. She was always jovial, very dedicated to her studies, and she was looking forward for graduation. And so this adds more to the pain that we as a class are enduring. So we are having each other so that we can go through this difficult time together.
The second fatal traffic accident here in the north was registered around 7 p.m. on Saturday night on the San Narciso-San Victor Road in Corozal. The incident claimed the life of a motorcyclist who was on his way home in San Victor Village, where he had been residing for the last 3 years. However, 52-year-old Gilberto Carias would never make it home after he was involved in a head-on collision with another vehicle coming out of San Victor. Today, our news team traveled to San Roman Village and spoke to his distraught mother and niece. Elmer Cornejo has all the details in the following story.
On Saturday night, the life of 52-year-old Gilberto Carias, better known as Ternillo, ended in tragedy as he was involved in a head-on collision with a black Chevy Tracker that was exiting San Victor en route to the San Narciso cutoff in Corozal. Carias was heading to his home in San Victor after consuming some beers at a local store. He was traveling on this very same motorcycle when he met face-to-face with death as he rammed into this mangled tracker which was traveling from San Victor towards San Narciso village and driven at the time by Roberto Tec. Carias died on the spot. Today, his distraught mother, Maria Socorro de Jacinta, told us she received news of her son's death around 7 p.m. on Saturday night. She rushed to the scene of the incident with police arriving in the area an hour after.
Como a las 7 me hicieron una llamada, pues yo como pude les dije a los vecinos que si por favor me podían llevar. Cuando yo llegué, mi pobre hijo ya estaba tirado y les digo yo no que yo quería verlo, todavía no había llegado la policía, pero me dijeron que no, que yo no tenía por qué acercarme a él. Tardó demasiado para que la policía llegara, tardó, y mi pobre hijo botado. Y entonces después que ya llegaron la policía, pues se pusieron a hacer medidas y todo. Hasta por último ya me dejaron verlo, pero ya cuando yo lo fui a tentar todavía él estaba caliente. Y yo legalmente, yo lo vi de que él estaba en su lado, legalmente él no estaba en otro lado, sino que él estaba en su lado. Todavía él se había quitado de aquí en la tarde. Él me dijo, mamá, la gente no me quiere, me dice, pero yo estoy allí, me dijo, solo por la niña, me dijo, por mi hija, me dijo, no porque ellos, me dijo, legalmente ni de comer me dan, me dijo mi pobre hijo, pero yo cada vez que él venía aquí, su comida estaba lista para él, porque son mis hijos y lo siento. Cuando yo llegué a la estación, dice el policía, ¿quién es el familiar? Dice de Carías. Pues yo soy su mamá, le dije yo. Yo soy su mujer, dijo la otra. Pasa pues, le dijo a la mujer, pero menos a mí. Ahora yo les dije, yo quiero entrar también, les dije, porque yo lo que necesito es un ID siquiera para voltear por él, les dije yo, así es mi hijo. Y cuando ya entramos donde iba a estar el policía, solo a ella le estaban escuchando todo, a mí nada me preguntaban, a mí yo me tienen sentada allí sin decir nada.
Today, Press Officer ASP Fitzroy Yearwood told reporters what police have been able to gather so far.
Police responded to another traffic accident, this time on the San Victor Road, where upon arrival they saw a trucker and a motorcycle that were involved in a collision. The driver of the motorcycle was known to be Gilberto Tolico, 52 years, and the driver of the vehicle, the Chevy Tracker, a black Chevy tracker, was driven by, excuse me, Robert Tech, 47 years. We know that it is believed by investigators so far that the motorcycle may have collided head-on into the trucker, and the driver received severe head and body injuries and was pronounced dead on the spot. No? The body of Gilberto Tolico now awaits a postmortem at the Corozal Community Hospital. Robert Tech was detained by Corozal police. We know that a notice of intended prosecution was served on him. Officers made a sketch plan on the scene.
Is there any indication of who was in whose lane?
Well, the investigators indicated that the motorbike is believed to have crossed into the lane of the trucker.
And while police believe Carillas was at fault, his niece thinks otherwise. While she admits her uncle was drinking prior to the accident, she does not believe he was highly intoxicated. For Ariane Carrillo, her uncle was on his lane, an opinion she holds after visiting the scene shortly after the accident.
I reached the scene. By then, there were a lot of people. There were other lookers around, and the persons, the villagers from San Victor, they were there trying to and see what's going on. Well, when we arrived, I said the first thing I was worrying about was my grandma, because she's not the complete she's healthy. She's still just recently she had gone to the doctor, pressure and other things. So we said, well, we want to make sure she's okay. As I arrived, the first thing that I personally asked was to see who was the person, because we only saw officers. We didn't see no other. The ambulance had not arrived yet, and that was after half an hour after, I guess. Who was my point was, who was the person that had actually check on my uncle to see if he had any pulse, to see, or who had declared him that he didn't make it. He was taking a couple drinks. She called him, and yes, he said he was at the store. He was getting a drink, a beer, yes, before he reached to the other village. So then she told him to be careful, and yes, we know that he's on his cycle and stuff, but he was not. He was still in his five senses. Then we wouldn't say that he was this. He had a couple, and then he was heading out, and that's where he say he was driving with his care. He kept on his right-hand side, as his driver. He was heading out, and then when we reached there, the thing that we saw was that the trucker, where there were supposed to be 4 passengers, the driver and other 3 accompaniants. When we reached there, we didn't saw. Nobody could have given us to show who were the ones. The other no, they weren't visible. So I said it's not fair, because somebody, they had to answer. Yes, that's what we understand, because it was on the main road, and there are a lot of cane fields and other ends. So nobody could give us any information as the whereabouts of the other persons, other passengers. So I said, well, yes, my uncle had alcohol in his system. If that's if they investigate properly, that will show. But as well, we wanted to make sure that the other passengers own to what happened. No, they show up and they do the proper testing on them too. Yes, we know, for a fact, we know that the 4 were drinking, the driver and his passengers. They were under the influence as well. So that's what we want: transparency. We want this to not just put any blame. We want to make sure that the facts come up. Yes, my uncle, yes, he was drinking, but also were the other person.
As for the mother of the victim, she is not too happy with the way the police handled the process while the family was at the police station. The matriarch calls for justice to be served.
Cuando yo ya estoy afuera con mi hijo, el policía al rato salió y dice, María Jacinto, dice, le digo yo, ¿qué es? Venga, me dijo, ya cuando me volvieron a enterar dónde estaban, Me dijo, ¿qué es lo que usted quiere? Pues solo el ID, le dije yo, porque a mí me va a tocar voltear por él y yo no tengo datos de él. Ahora fue que me dijo, pues aquí está el ID, me dijo, y solo me lo dio y me volví a salir y lo venimos. Yo lo único que digo, pues, que Dios haga todo, pero sí, si quisiera, digamos, que tan siquiera justicia para mi hijo, porque legalmente es un ser humano, ¿no? Tan siquiera justicia que se haga porque ahí estaba. Y que tan siquiera, pues, mi hijo legalmente, no voy a negarlo, estaba borracho, pero los otros estaban iguales, ¿no? Estaban iguales, ¿no? Entonces, pues, no sé, legalmente yo no puedo decir cómo ocurrió las cosas, pero lo que sí sé que mi hijo estaba en su lado.
Ariane Carrillo says her uncle will be remembered as a jovial person who lived life to the fullest.
My uncle, as this is his AKA Tornillo, or everybody had a nickname for him. He was well known here. Well, I don't know how to say. I guess countrywide, because he was one person that used to go around, have friends everywhere. Everybody knows this for the same reason. I guess my grandma, well, they know him. They know her a lot. As the name pops up, like Gilberto, everybody has his cuñado, everybody has his nicknames for him. And first thing, like if they want to find out any information about him, well, he was easily accessible. He was one person that he gets along with the kids, with his nieces, his nephews, everybody. You know, everybody like his jovial, you know, he's all enthusiastic, he's always with that smile. And as we say, we can remember him, he had that big smile, has a welcoming, you know. Well, the family, like everybody else, you know, sometimes they have their ups and downs, but he was always there for you.
What will you miss most about him?
Well, I miss him always. Sometimes you wouldn't see him often coming around to you, but as you see you, first thing he comes and he hugs you. He gives you that big warm hug.
Before his untimely death, Carías took one last photograph with his nephew before heading out to San Victor Village. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
47-year-old Roberto Tech, the driver of the Chevy trucker, has since been detained by Corozal police while Gilberto Carías' body awaits a post-mortem examination to legally record the cause of death. The board of directors of the St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and the general manager of the credit union, Rafael Dominguez Sr., have obtained the services of attorney Dean Barrow to represent them in their case against the central bank. The board and Dominguez lawyered up after the central bank governor and the registrar of credit unions, Kareem Michael, reprieved them from their duties and power and appointed an administrator to run the daily activities of the union. Citing critical deficiencies in governance and risk management practices, as well as material weaknesses in internal controls that could destabilize the credit union. Governor Michaels appointed Martin Marshallack as the administrator of the credit union effective March 10, 2023. He made the announcement on Friday to the press. For context, here is that portion of Michaels' address.
On the 5th of July 2022, I also placed the credit union under a regime of enhanced supervision by appointing on-site examiners to review the day-to-day operations of the credit union pursuant to Section 60 of the Credit Union Act. The information gathered as a result of the said special examination and the examiners I appointed uncovered what I regard as critical deficiencies in governance and risk management practices at St. Francis Xavier Credit Union. In my capacity again as the registrar, and in keeping with my statutory duties, I have, through written communication, engaged extensively with the board and management of St. Francis to ensure it addressed the issues and deficiencies uncovered. I formed the view that if not addressed, these material weaknesses could destabilize the credit union and harm the interests of its members. I have provided the board and management of St. Francis with ample opportunity to address my concerns, and I have determined that these critical deficiencies have not been adequately addressed.
But could the move have a serious repercussion, including the loss of membership? According to Michaels, there is no need for members to pull out of the credit union since their money is safe.
One person may, in fact, or many people may, in fact, decide out of an abundance of caution to withdraw the money. We're saying the exact opposite. We're saying because you have the full support of the registrar and also the employees of the central bank through the powers conferred to the registrar, and also is a very seasoned, experienced expert in the financial sector, and also the team around him, that St. Francis Xavier Credit Union has the potential, once we reconstruct or construct that proper framework, to go even beyond the second largest credit union into something far greater. But on a very practical sense, the powers conferred to the administrator and the registrar can take several actions to prevent a run on that institution as well. And that tide must be stemmed.
And for those questioning why the registrar took so long to act, it all has to do with the Credit Union Act, says Michaels.
I will say that it had to take a natural course simply because of limitations within the Credit Union Act of when the powers of the registrar could actually be exercised. In conflicts or those events that I mentioned in my opening remarks, and also those that were not even captured by the public, some of them were outside what could have been acted upon by myself as registrar under the Credit Union Act, while some were actually fell quite under the Credit Union Act, but not sufficient or strong enough for a more severe action to be taken by myself. And so that had to be balanced, and we had to move with what powers rested in the Credit Union Act, and also, of course, due process.
One of the non-adherences that fell on the lap of the SFXCU Board of Directors has to do with the General Manager himself. In a letter addressed to the President of the Board, Everaldo Puck, on February 20, 2023, the Registrar of the Credit Unions requires that the Board provide confirmation of adherence to requirement to take immediate steps to recover all monies paid to Rafael Dominguez Sr. in his claim or compensation for defamation of character. To date, that money has not been recovered, says Michael.
I understand that you all had sent a letter to the Board of Directors requesting that immediate steps be taken to recover monies paid out to Mr. Rafael Dominguez Sr. in regards to allegations of defamation of character. Would you be able to say what that amount is that was paid out to him, if it was?
The total amounts are in excess of $100,000. Well in excess of it.
And for history not to repeat itself, moves are being made to modernize the Credit Union Act.
We've been working with the Credit Union and the Belize Credit Union League to modernize the Credit Union Act. I will say this now, that we will be re-engaging the Credit Union League and credit unions here for an entire revision of the Act, which we will present to them probably before the close of the year.
Following the relief of duties and power, the Board of Directors, Credit Committee, and the Supervisory Committees, along with the General Manager of the St. Francis Xavier Credit Union Limited, have sought to reassure members that there will not be further turmoil, even as they insist they have not been given fair play in their dealings with regulator, the Central Bank of Belize. In a press release issued on Saturday, the credit union accused Governor Kareem Michael, acting as registrar of credit unions, of deciding to violate the rights of each and every registered member who are the sole owners with authority to the administration of their business with the SFXCU. The directive and carried out by the registrar is one without justifiable cause or reasons at a time when the SFXCU's administrative performance clearly highlights growth, performance, liquidity, and stability, as per the yearly financial reports in just 8 months of the newly elected board and committees. The board further notes the contradictions as highlighted in our article published on Saturday between the bank's claims of critical internal weaknesses and flaws and its insistence that members' monies remain safe, and urges him to reconsider his wrongful approach. The credit union maintains that it is complying with the demands of corrective measures by the regulator and watching over the business of its member owners. The credit union also disclosed a letter from President of the Board, Everaldo Puck, to Governor Michael in response to a show cause letter issued by the bank. Puck directly accuses the governor and the bank of abusive behavior and general conduct unbecoming of a registrar of credit unions. A determination to remove the duly elected leader of the credit union and setting unreasonable deadlines and acting on unproven allegations, citing a report he described as based on a witch hunt organized by the former board of directors. He adds that the bank has moved apparently to ensure failure as a basis to now claim non-compliance as a pretext for imposing fines and other drastic measures, consistent with the particular insult, suggesting the lack of capacity of the elected members to manage the affairs of the credit union. The board asked that the registrar should allow an appropriate time for the board to govern the affairs of the credit union, as was intended by the members who elected this board, before any actions or penalties are imposed on the credit union, and notes that at this point there is no chaos or disruption of the business of any kind or any ongoing exposure of financial losses to the members. Further, the registrar is also aware of measures are already in place to prevent or minimize such exposure. It also requests that the bank not hurt member owners by forcing fines that would draw from the credit union's resources. Coming up next, government to continue absorbing losses in fuel taxes to relieve Belizeans. Stay tuned.
Belize, are you ready for Jesus Fest 2023? The End Times Revival, March 17th and 18th, starting at 6 p.m. Invited guest Pastor Paul Dougherty from the USA.
Hey, listen, the weather's going to change. Listen, I know it's stormy seas out there, but there's light at the end of this storm. The sun will come out tomorrow. God's going to do something in your future. He's not finished with you yet. Somebody say, this is not how it ends.
Casa Worship Band from Belmopan, Pastor Vicente Franco from Mexico, Psalmist from Orange Walk, Beverly Shiloh. This event will take place at Arthur Street in Orange Walk, in front of Orange Walk Market. Special gifts will be provided. Sponsors, Victory Church from Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA, Hope Alive, Stereo Luz, CVM Church, Pastores y Ministros Amigo del Reino,
Koinonia Ministries.
Buses will be provided for villages. For more information, contact us at 661-7324. Jesus Fest 2023. See you there.
Indulge the flavor. Go beyond meat. Looks like meat. Tastes like meat. But it's better than meat. 100% plant-based. Rich in protein, 50% less saturated fat, no GMOs, no added soy, packed with benefits and sustainable. Beyond meat, good for you, good for the environment. Now available in 6 different types of products in Belize. Beyond Burger, Beyond Sausage, Beyond Beef, Beyond Chicken Nuggets, Beyond Chicken Tenders, Beyond Steak. Beyond Meat, distributed by United Distributors Limited.
After almost 2 years of standoff between the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and BSI-ASR over a commercial agreement, last week the cabinet announced its decision to convene a commission of inquiry into the sugar industry in an effort to review the sustainability of the industry as well as its modernization. The commission, according to the PM, is being set up to ensure transparency and equity within every sector within the sugar industry.
Now, there are two different things that we're dealing with right here. One, the commercial agreement, and secondly, the modernization and viability of the sugar industry. Now, a commission of inquiry can only provide recommendations. They have no legal footing to say, okay, this is what you have to do and this is the end of it. So we said it is high time to be able to set up the commission of inquiry that will look at the entire sugar industry. Look at the fields, the planting, the production, the cutting of it, transport to BSI, to the factory, and for the factory, for once it be produced into sugar and it's exported, so we have to look at the whole value chain of it. That's what, and then look at for instance, the Sugar Act that has to be modernized. So the idea is that going through all of this and bringing in the experts to take a look at what we're doing and looking at the cost of our farmers as to how much it costs for them to produce a ton of cane, and including BSI, what is it that it costs them to produce a ton of sugar to ensure that they're making the right charges to the farmers. And so working through that, then we could come up with a firm set of recommendations that then we can use as a blueprint for the future of the sugar industry.
Apart from the Commission of Inquiry, Cabinet has also agreed to establish a subcommittee led by Minister Karim Musa to look at the commercial agreement aspect of the impasse between BSI-ASR and the BSAFA.
Now, as to the commercial agreement, now what we are attempting to do, the mediation did not work. We are hoping that if the three ministers with us, Minister Musa to head the team, you have Minister Mai as the minister responsible for the sugar industry, and Minister Oscar Mira, to them to meet with the Cane Farmers Association and say, okay, in the commercial agreement, what are the issues you have? And why is it that you have these issues? And then they could meet with BSI separately and said, okay, what are your concerns in the commercial agreement?
You had that
so,
with the cabinet presentation?
No, we don't have that. That's two different things. No, they just made a presentation on what they're doing. It was not about the commercial agreement. But it was not about the commercial agreement. BSI gave a presentation on their operations and what is it they're doing and investments and everything. And BSAFA, they came in and made a presentation. Theirs was more skewed towards trying to make a case. I will grant you that. But that was not negotiations. They just made a presentation. So now the idea is that they can meet with BSI, and then when they find out exactly what are the difference, then try to find, if you could find common ground to be able to come up with a commercial agreement. If we're going to get it, long shot, difficult, but we have to continue trying. I appointed him because he is the minister responsible for new industries. As an attorney, I think also that he will also be able to understand the legal nuances of these negotiations. And thirdly, I think that he has demonstrated great skill in the police department in quietly reorganizing the police department, making it more effective, and we're starting to see the effects that crime, or at least violent crime, is on the downward trajectory. So we felt that, and also there's a calmness about him, get very excited and would lose his cool. So he had all the qualities of the person that I felt would be the right person to lead this group.
During the Prime Minister's budget speech on Friday, he outlined his government's policy as it relates to fuel taxes for the past fiscal year. Despite high fuel prices at the pumps over the past few months, The PM says government has absorbed close to $3 million in losses monthly in taxes on fuel. Those policies, according to the PM, are expected to continue into the upcoming fiscal year in an effort to reduce the price of fuel for Belizeans.
We're hoping that the price of fuel would go down. As I mentioned, up to so far we have cut fuel taxes by over $30 million. And it hurts it because there's so much we can do with that. But at the same time, we fully understand and appreciate that people are hurting, that the price of fuel is way too high for everybody. But we can only deal with the acquisition cost, and at the same time trying to find a balancing act to ensure that we can not write off too much taxes, but at the same time trying to have some sort of a ceiling, where we would want fuel to go above. And if this year we have to continue with the cutting in the fuel, the tax fuel, well, we just have to, we have no other choice.
Last week, the government announced the agreement reached with the joint unions negotiating team for the implementation of a phased approach to the public sector pension reform. During an interview with the media in Belmopan on Friday, Prime Minister Briceño further elaborated on his government's decision to move forward with the new pension scheme. The current scheme, according to the PM, proved to be unsustainable, noting that by the end of the current fiscal year, GOB would have spent $95 million in pension payouts. That figure is expected to increase to $100 million in the new fiscal year, a figure which government simply cannot sustain.
First of all, I want to thank the unions for working with us on this matter. They knew it was coming. They knew it was unsustainable. And Mr. Flores and Dean Flores and also Elena Smith, we have to give them some credit that they acted in the best interest of Belize, and to be able to talk to their membership to say, this is something that is necessary. The first time that this came to my attention was in 2004 with then Prime Minister Musa, and I think the pension bill at that time was around a little over $30 million. And now here we are at $100 million. It has to be done. There's no ifs or buts. The irony of all of this, we are making these tough decisions that will not benefit our government, because as a government, we will not be able to get the real benefits of what we're doing until all of these people have come out of the system. With unions, since because we knew that we didn't have enough time by April 1st, we said, okay, let's take it in two phases. The first phase is to say that unions have agreed that any new entrant starting the 1st of July will have to pay part of a contributory pension scheme. And the idea is that 10% of their salaries is going to be set aside. They are going to pay 5%, and the government is going to match it with a 5%. So that's one. But secondly, we're saying now that we are now, phase two is now we have to sit down with the unions to say, okay, where is the cutoff date? Of course, they would like to keep things as they are and so on, a new one, but we can't. We owe it to the Belizean people to address this issue. So the idea is to be able to be able to get to a cutoff point, be it people that have served maybe 20 years, 15 years, depends on the negotiations, where we say, okay, people that have, let's say people that have worked for more than 15 years in the system will stay in the non-contributory pension scheme. And then those under 15 years, then they would have to start to contribute for their pension. So, but that has to be worked out. We are working on the numbers to point out to them the cost, what is going to be able to cost the government. But the point I want to make, again, this is not something that we are going to benefit. We will still have to pay the increases of the pension every year. Probably the next maybe 8, 9, 10 years, we're going to start to feel the effect of making the right decisions now.
It is public knowledge that by the end of 2024, all bus operators should have their fleet of buses upgraded to standards that the Ministry of Transport has implemented. Tonight, there is major news coming out of the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and it has to do with upgrades also. Via a press release, the government of Belize made known Belize's participation at the 258th Ordinary Meeting of the Board of Directors of the Central American Corporation of Air Navigation Services held in Spain, Belize. Was represented by Honorable Andre Perez and CEO of the Ministry, Kennedy Carrillo. The duo signed an agreement to the tune of $8.5 million for the purchase of a new aviation primary radar and the upgrading of its air traffic control center. The new primary radar will significantly improve Belize's control centers, and it will provide the opportunity to modernize its air navigation services, making them safer and more secure on a regional and international scale. Belize currently utilized a secondary surveillance radar system that relies on signals transmitted by equipment on an aircraft to determine its location. The new surveillance radar will emit a signal that bounces off aircraft to determine their positions, even in cases where aircrafts are uncooperative or involved in illicit activities. Furthermore, the CONCESNA board members have agreed to provide additional support to Belize to enhance technical capacity building and legal reform efforts. These measures aim to ensure that Belize's civil aviation regulations fully comply with the standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. The approval of this support demonstrates CONCESNA's commitment to improving aviation safety and efficiency in Belize and the wider Central American region. CONCESNA was established in 1960 as an international organization focused on integrating and coordinating air navigation services and aeronautical safety capacity building in Central America. The Board of Directors is the highest authority within it, responsible for overseeing its operations and decision-making processes. Minister Perez has been newly appointed to the position of chairperson for the Finance Commission of the Regional Corporation. The signing of this agreement marks a notable milestone for Belize's aviation industry as it paves the way for the provision of advanced and dependable air navigation services to the global community. The government of Belize remains dedicated to collaborating with CONCESNA to ensure that its air navigation services adhere to global standards and enhance the safety and efficiency of air travel in the region. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, March 14th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3newsbz. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.